When I got there, they put my PowerPoint on. The PowerPoint didn't work. They tested my videos on break right before I was supposed to speak. Videos didn't work. You are not in Kansas, Dorothy. All right? That's not your home.
Welcome to the Sam Linton Show, the podcast designed to help you shift your mindset, find your voice, and change your world. Sam is a pastor, coach, and expert communicator, helping leaders and entrepreneurs like you step into their purpose, speak with confidence, and make a lasting difference. So let's dive in.
When you are speaking, one of the things that's going to help you to actually feel comfortable about speaking in a location is by arriving at a location early. Now, this is something that will maybe stick with you, maybe it won't stick with you. But right now I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. And spoiler alert, I don't live in Nashville. I'm coming here for a particular event that I'm doing for some coaching, and I'm going to be getting certified with a program called Story Brand. It's a program put on by author Donald Miller, and there's a handful of us that, like maybe 20 of us, that are getting this training, and it's going to lead me to help my clients better when it comes to marketing. Now, I say all that to say this: when you have to speak somewhere, inevitably what's going to happen is you are going to get a little bit of anxiety because you have never been there, like never. So when that happens, what needs to happen for you is you need to become familiar as you can with the location. Now, a couple things to keep in mind about this, and I'll tell you a quick story. I worked for Dale Carnegie for 10 years. So I've gone all over the tri-state area, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, Ohio. And I worked in hospitals, I've worked in auditoriums, I've worked in boardrooms, I've worked in huge conference rooms, I've gone to basements, I've been on top floors of huge buildings that overlook the city of Pittsburgh. I even did a certification where I had to do a training in the middle of New York City in the financial district. Invariably, there's some things that you have to keep in mind when you're going somewhere new and you're responsible for speaking. You are not in Kansas, Dorothy, all right? That's not your home. So what needs to happen in order for you to start to kind of feel more comfortable is you have to scope out the scene. You can't go in there expecting that you are going to feel the comforts of your home, the comforts of your bedroom. So you're going to have to do some things that are going to be some kind of recognizance work. So I'm going to give you today 3 things that you have to do when you're speaking somewhere that's new or when you're going to a different venue. The likelihood of you speaking in a room that you're familiar with, like your own home, is very, very unlikely. So if you're going to be speaking, or if you're going to be hosting an event, or if you're going to be doing something where you have to be somewhere new, these are the 3 things that I typically check. Now, again, if you're new to our channel, welcome to the Sam Linton Show. This is a podcast designed to essentially help you shift your mindset, find your voice, and change your world. My goal as a coach and as an entrepreneur and as a pastor is to get you to be in touch with the most effective version of who you are when you're speaking. Now, I speak all over the place. I train all over the place. So I'm kind of old hat at this, but you get that invitation. You don't know where you're going, and you find out that you're going to be speaking somewhere. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was in the height of my panic attacks. I went through a year, 9 months, I don't want to exaggerate, 9 months of panic attacks every single time I would speak. It wasn't speaking related. It was anxiety about a bunch of different things, but it was always when I would speak. So the idea of me speaking to an audience was nauseating, even though I was a pastor. So I was trying to find my way. And what ended up happening was I started to become really anxious about showing up to places early. So when I would do a training with Dale Carnegie, or when I would do a speaking thing for the church, I would get there really, really early. And being there early got me to feel a little bit better. All right, a little bit better. Now, what happened was I was contracted to do a keynote for about 900 people. And I know that sounds like a lot if you're used to speaking to smaller groups. I was already used to speaking to people in the hundreds. So the idea of speaking to 900 wasn't really a big deal. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, that's no big deal. But when I was in the middle of this panic stuff, if you told me I had to speak in front of 9 people, I would have a panic attack. If you told me I had to speak in front of 3 people, I'd have a panic attack. So whether it was 9 or 900, I was shot. Now, here's what happened. I got contracted to do this. It was a keynote. It was all on my own. I had to write the material. It was an hour-long keynote. I love writing. I love preparing. I love all that stuff. However, dun, 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 I was having panic attacks. And so I realized that I was going to be speaking to this group of leaders, and I found myself not having any idea what it was that I would be doing and what the venue was like. So I realized that the only way I wasn't going to have a full-blown panic attack while speaking to this group of people was that if I had an idea of what the room was going to be like, what the acoustics were going to be like, what the technology was going to be like. But the problem was this: they had only rented the facility for the time that we were going to be there. So I had to figure out ways in order for me to bring my anxiety down. Little did I know that I would stumble on what would be something that I still do to this day. Like I did a training in New York, I did this. I did a training in West Virginia, I did this. So this is what I do. And this works for you. Okay, so I'm going to give these to you. These are very, very valuable if you are speaking somewhere that is not your bedroom or your closet, somewhere that you're not used to speaking, right? Okay, so first thing you do, you want to speak to whoever it is that is in charge of the venue. You want to speak to whoever it is that is in charge of the venue. All right. So the interview with them is going to be crucial. When you interview them, you are going to ask several questions, and I'm going to give you these questions. This is what I asked the technology person that was in charge of the venue. I was able to get a meeting with them. I'm having full-blown panic attacks at just the idea of speaking at this place, out of my mind, but I figured, okay, I'll make this work. So this is what I did. I asked them about the technology, number one. I was like, okay, so tell me about your technology. Tell me, microphone, screen, all that jazz. What do I need? Give me the granular details. So, I mean, if you want to have ChatGPT generate like a list of questions, but I asked about the microphone. I asked about the size of the room. I asked about when I could access the stage. I asked about where people would be sitting. I asked about where I'd be standing. I asked if I have a podium. I asked if I was allowed to use notes. I asked all the things. So I spoke to this person as if I was buying a house. Like by the time I talked to them, I had maybe 35 minutes with them on the phone. I knew everything that I could know conceivably about the venue. I mean, I Googled it. I looked it up. I even kind of mapped out how long it would take. It was about an hour north of where I would be, where I live. And coincidentally, it was really close to where President Trump was almost assassinated. It was out in Butler. So it was out in that area, real close to where the farm show was. So that's where I was speaking, like there in that area. And so I got the information. I looked at the area. I figured out what I was going to be doing. And I felt a little bit better, even though I knew I couldn't access the area. They were renting that space. So they weren't going to be cool with some freaked out preacher coming up and be like, can I stand on your stage and see how I'm going to have a panic attack? No, I didn't have the opportunity to do that. So I had to go with the knowledge that I had based on the conversation I had with that person. They were very, very, very charitable about that information. Okay, so that's the first thing. So for you, let's go back to you for a moment. You have to speak somewhere. You have to run a meeting. Let's say you're doing a company retreat. Let's say you set up like one of those working fun things where you have your team together and you're kind of gathering people together. My suggestion would be to talk to the AV people on that team and that's hosting you and ask them those questions. Ask them all the questions. So get the details about the tech, get the details about what you're going to need specifically for you. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them what your needs are. Tell them what you're bringing and let them give you enough information so that there's very little mystery when you get there. The worst, listen to this, the worst thing you could do if you're nervous is just show up and hope that everything's going to be going okay. They're not going to have the adapter that you need for your computer. They're not going to have the most recent version of PowerPoint installed on their system. They're not going to be able to play your video. You just don't even think about it. You gotta get this figured out before you speak because that's going to lower your anxiety about speaking and it's going to make you look like more of a professional. So recognizance work, that is the first thing. With me? All right. Now, if you are new to this podcast right now, if somebody you know has a speaking engagement or somebody that you're working with has something that they're working on, right now, share this episode for the next 2 tips. So share this with them. Say, hey, Sam has some things that might help you out the next time you're speaking somewhere. Or if you're coordinating an event somewhere, Sam's really good at helping you when it comes to speaking. If you know a business owner might need some coaching, say Sam does coaching. He'll help you get effective when it comes to your speaking, but definitely use me as a resource. Okay, so first, reconnaissance work, figure out what's going on. Second, and this is really important. Second thing is to arrive as early as you can. All right? Arrive as early as you can. So, if they tell you that your engagement, let's say you have a meeting in the boardroom and your meeting is at 8 a.m. Ask them when the person that opens that room is there. I would suggest, my suggestion is a minimum of an hour before. Now, here's why. Couple reasons. First of all, you being in that space is going to give you familiarity with the space. It's going to bring down the illusion that you don't know what it's like there. You don't know what to expect there. It's going to bring that down. It's going to cause you to maybe even feel like this is kind of homey for you. Like you'll get a lay of where the space is. You'll get to figure out where you're going to stand. You'll get an idea of who's coming. So that's one of the first reasons. Okay. So the second reason is you, by arriving early, will enable you to bring, or I should say to introduce some rapport with the people that you're speaking to. Now, if this is your team, that's fine. It's okay if you're there with them a little early. You're showing servant leadership by being there before them, and you're just kind of like there to touch base with them. Funny jokes. You're going to loosen up the mood. You'll maybe have something that will lead to your opener. I talked in episode 2 about speaking for the Rotary Club, and I was doing a keynote for the Rotary Club, and I listened to them talk, and they used the word Rotarian. So I said, I want to use Rotarian. Like that rapport would not have happened if I would have came in, if I was speaking at 12:30 and I came in at 12:28 with my jacket and my computer ready to rock, right? So the second thing that this is going to do is it's going to help you to build rapport. Because if you get that rapport established early, this is going to enable you to really make that connection. And it's going to put you miles ahead when it comes to what it is that you have to do for that particular event. I want to bring you a message from our very first sponsor. I run a company called Glint Storytelling Group, and we have a very special, timely offer. This offer is going to be a workshop that we are going to be offering in March, at the end of March 31st, to be precise. And the workshop is gosh, I need to get some sort of music here. This is too dramatic. I don't want to over. The workshop is called From Book to Booking. That's the title of it. Like from Write a Book to Get Booked workshop. And here it is. This is what I know. If you're a communicator, if you're listening to this, or if you're a thought leader, if you're an executive, here's what I know about you, most of you. You've always had that dream of writing a book. Everyone has. They want to talk about their experience. They want to talk about their expertise. And they have one conversation. You have one conversation that you've had over and over and over again over the years. You're like, I should write a book about this. You know, people keep telling me I should do this. Okay, so here is me, and I'm going to tell you, yes, you should. But here's what I'm also going to tell you. Of the millions of people that want to write a book, in America in particular, most people will never write a book. They won't. And I could give you all the reasons why, but they're not going to write a book. So in this workshop, here's what we're going to do. This workshop is designed to get you to write a book that enhances your credibility as a speaker. One of the things that has gotten me a lot of credibility in my field when I worked for Dale Carnegie and when I did keynote speeches and when I've worked at the church is having a couple books to my name. I've written 5 novels. I've written 2 nonfiction books. And the book that has actually gotten the most traction is a very short book that is kind of an unknown, like it's not a commercial thing, but what it did is it boosted my credibility as a speaker. And so if you want to get on stages or if you want to get more speaking opportunities, or even if you're looking to get more coaching clients or people to your business, having a book to your name will get you there. So the course includes a 90-minute interactive workshop with me on March 31st at 7 p.m. So it's just me, and I'm going to be facilitating everything I know about writing a book in 90 minutes and how to set it up. So it's going to include, here's the parts of it. If you want the details, here's the quick and dirty on the details. It's going to include mindset, why you're not writing a book because of your mindset. And, you know, people make a book like it's a big deal, like, oh, I can't write the book. Like you're in charge of writing War and Peace, or you're in charge of writing Atomic Habits Part 2. I'm going to talk about that, and you're never going to have those mindset issues again. Second thing I'm going to tell you is how to get an actual plan and how to use tools that will actually help you get the book on the page. Actually write the words and get the book down. So we'll talk about a plan, talk about how you have to do it, some things that you can do to help you. And then the third, and maybe the most important, is once we get the book, I'm going to tell you how to package it, and I'm going to tell you how to promote it and how to promote yourself in it. Now, this isn't going to be a marketing, how to write a bestseller. That's not the way this is. This book is going to be your supercharged business card. It's going to be what you use to get clients, to get on stages, to get connections, but really to get more speaking. So if that interests you, the introductory price that changes on March 26th is $447. Now you might be like, well, for a workshop, that's not all. It also includes an interactive workbook that you take with you to write your own action plan. And, ready for this? It includes one-on-one coaching session with yours truly. Yes, if you think this rich baritone is keeping you soothed and in the proper mindset now, imagine if you were looking at me face to face and I was showing you exactly how to get over those roadblocks that you have to writing your first book and to getting on stages with that book. So if that's of interest to you, go to my website, glintstorytelling.com/book-to-booking. That's glintstorytelling.com/booked-to-booking. And that link will be in the show notes. Okay, now the third thing that getting there early is going to do is it's going to enable you to work out all the things that are screwed up with your tech. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Bloop, bloop, bloop. It's going to enable you to work out all the things that are screwed up with your tech. Notice I didn't say this is going to help you if you have a problem with your tech. No, I'm assuming you have a problem with your tech. You're going to have a problem with your tech. You know, the reason why is because you're in a place that's not your place. So the person that was in the hotel before you, they stole the HDMI cord. The last person, they tried to log in on Netflix too many times on the display television, and it's locked, and you're going to need to get maintenance there. The person before, they broke their iPhone charger in the clicker. And so the clicker thing is broken. And so you're going to need to figure that out. You're going to need to talk to people that are there on site to help you. So I would suggest getting there as early as you can so that you can test things. I got to that event in Butler in Pennsylvania as early as I could, as early as they'd let me. It gave me a chance to listen to the previous person speaking. So I built a little rapport there. I didn't have a chance to access the audience. They were there for an 8-hour long day, and I was at the end of the day. So I didn't get a chance to engage with them, but I was able to come in an hour before so that I could see what they were talking about, kind of get an idea of what that event was like. And it gave me a whole heck of a lot better feeling about speaking there. So, doing that really helps you to build that rapport, but it's more important than rapport. And I don't want to say more important because that's kind of an over exaggeration, but I would say it's as important to know that you can work out all the screwed up things with your tech. I make an assumption that everything with my tech is going to be screwed up. There's going to be something goes wrong. Like, oh, I sent the notes, they didn't get the notes. PowerPoint failed, there's a power outage, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make a difference. Okay. So just assume that there's going to be tech issues. You getting there on time is going to help you to bring those issues down, help you to kind of maybe put off and kind of get yourself in the mindset that your tech isn't working, and just prepare for that. So first reason, or the first thing you want to do, I talked about this, is you want to arrive as early as you can. And you establish that, or I should say the first thing, remember, by recapping, first thing you do, talk to the person that's in charge of the event. Second thing is you want to get there as early as you can, because it's going to give you that established rapport. It's going to get a chance for you to see what the room is like. It's going to give you a chance, I should say, to make sure you don't mess up your tech. All right. Now the third one that piggybacks off the last one, and this is probably the most important. And I hate to save that one for last, but you listen this long, so this is worth its weight. You absolutely have to have a backup plan for when things go south. They're going to go south. It's going to happen. In no world do you get up to speak. Do you get up to lead that meeting? Do you get up to have that one-on-one and everything is perfect? It is going to be messed up. There's something that's going to mess it up. All right. So you have to have a backup. You have to have some sort of a backup that's going to give you notes, some sort of a backup that's going to give you the ability to know what it is that you can do should everything fall apart. Let me take you back to that event. So I'm there early. I had done my recognizance work, so I was able to know what the lay of the land was and how much time I had to access and all that stuff. I was killing it in that area. I get there, and I had already emailed them my slides. I had already given them my videos. I had 3 videos. I had like a boatload of slides. I had handouts. I had all the things. I had it all ready. Okay. When I got there, they put my PowerPoint on. The PowerPoint didn't work. They tested my videos on break right before I was supposed to speak. Videos didn't work. Something was wrong with their system. I mean, remember, they're running an 8-hour program. This guy had, all this work, a ton of presenters. They were doing so much work. So my heart was going out to him. Like, I felt for him. This isn't his fault. I mean, again, tech stuff's going to go wrong. But you know what I brought? I brought my laptop ready to plug into their system with all of my stuff preloaded. Like literally the videos, I had the PowerPoint, I had my own clicker, I had everything. The only thing I didn't get, which if I knew then what I knew now, because of the size of the group, I would have brought my own microphone. I would have brought a wireless microphone to plug into their sound system. They did have a microphone, and their microphone was fine. They had a handful of them. They had handheld ones, and they had one that they let me wear. But I went there, they put the stuff in, didn't work. So of course my anxiety is going up, and then I remembered. I pulled out my shiny silver MacBook Pro, opened it up, my presentation was already there, it was already ready to rock. I said, here you go. It was like this magical moment. I was like, why don't you try this? The MacBook just appeared. I'm like, hey, maybe we'll use my stuff and I plugged it into their system, and boom, I felt like Iron Man. Like, remember when Iron Man, like, he hijacks the technology of where he is? Like, when he's on the Avengers ship, he takes over the tech. When he's in that congressional meeting where they're grilling him about the Iron Man suit, he takes over the tech. And that's how I felt. I was like, why don't you go ahead and plug this USB in, and I'll do a little Tony Stark right now. So I let them have my laptop. It plugged right in, and boosh, all my stuff was there. It was amazing. My anxiety, my panic attack, I was already having, because no matter what, I have 9 months of panic attacks. This was the last time I had one, by the way. And this was when God healed me through this event. So it was the third time I did it. I had 3 days of keynotes. As soon as they plugged it in and my stuff went all over on that first one, and I did it the next 2 days, my anxiety was gone. So I got up, did the keynote, slayed. I had all my slides because I had my backup plan. I wasn't depending on them. I wasn't putting that pressure on them. I brought the pressure because I am the professional. I am the speaker. It's my job. All right. So it's not the job of your venue. They have their responsibility, but I look at it as going, okay, well, if everything goes to pot, if this all goes in the tank, whose deal was this? What's mine? They're not going to go, oh, it's a shame that venue didn't get it right. They're going to go, oh, that guy's presentation sucked. Slides couldn't even work. He didn't have the cool videos that he had. So what I did was I felt confident because I brought my own backup plan. So whatever you have to invest, if this is for your company and your company's asking you to do some speaking, if you're an executive, because I primarily deal with executives, when I'm coaching executives, I tell them, hey, look, tell your resource team, your HR team or your tech team, whoever, tell them to give you a backup plan. If you're using a Surface Book, tell them to give you an iPad. If you're using a projector, ask them if you, in fact, can borrow another projector. You can repurpose it. You have to have a backup because it's on you. You have to do that work. You have to do that work. And when you do, when things go wrong, you look like the hero because you solved the problem. You were the one that was able to make it work. And so it makes you look like you're a professional. It makes you look like you're comfortable in your own skin, right? And so when you're somewhere new, this gives you the opportunity to look like you've been there the whole time. It is so amazing. So let's recap this so that you understand. Number one, do your homework. Research as much as you can. So figure out what they're having available to you. Figure out what the AV system is like. Figure out who you got to talk to, your point person. Number two, get there as early as you can. 1 hour at the latest. Dale Carnegie, when he used to run his public programs in New York City and he would do them in the YMCA, he would do them all through Manhattan. When he did that, the earliest or the latest he would show up, I would say, is like 90 minutes to 2 hours before. Sometimes he would actually get there early and have a time and rent a room in the hotel that he was in. And he would actually take a nap before because he wanted to be in the room. So I want to encourage you, get there as early as you can after you do your reconnaissance work. So that way you are comfortable with the venue. And third of all, remember, backup plan. You cannot go in there assuming hopes and dreams and I am here, everything is gonna go well. You have to give yourself insurance. Technology has never been cheaper than it is right now. So you have the opportunity to buy that spare junky laptop. You have the opportunity to get that extra iPad, buy a cheap junky projector, cheap lavalier microphone that you can plug into a system. I mean, if you're at an executive level, you can afford these things. You have budget for these things. If you're an entrepreneur, make it a business expense, but do so because your speaking is your bread and butter in this event. You don't want to blow it in the end zone because not having a backup plan. So make it happen. Do whatever you have to do for that backup plan. Now, last thing, this is the bonus. When it comes to speaking somewhere else, you might need some coaching. I'm your guy. I've coached executives. I've coached mid-level managers. I've coached entrepreneurs for over a decade. This is what I do. And sometimes, and I'm not going to say sometimes, always, when you apply some concerted effort to your speaking, it's not something that lasts just for one meeting. It stays with you for the rest of your life. So you're like, why would I pay for something when I could Google this or when I could listen to an audio book about TED Talks, because when you pay attention. And also, those audio books and even ChatGPT isn't going to be sitting next to you looking to see what I can see to help you to become who you really can become when you're speaking. So if you have that big event coming up, if you have that big program that you're running, I just was coaching somebody that was going to be doing some media, speaking to a camera like this, speaking to an audience on camera. And there's a different way that you speak when you're doing this versus when you're in a room. There's different things we can consider. That's what I do. So I would love to help you. Contact me. You can contact me at podcast@SamuelLinton.com. That's podcast@SamuelLinton.com. And I will reach out, see what your availability is, talk to you, give you some options, but we do coaching. But regardless, remember, when you show up, you're going to have a blast. You were meant for this. You're going to kill it. It doesn't matter where you are, because where you are, you're bringing yourself with you. And because you're bringing yourself with you, you're going to make a difference. So go out there, shift your mindset, find your voice, and change the world.